A dire warning shakes the region. Israel has announced an imminent military offensive targeting parts of Gaza City, urgently advising residents to evacuate at once. The international response? Heated, polarized, and filled with urgent questions about morality, legality, and the human cost of war. But here's the real story, far more complex and divisive than headlines suggest. On Friday, an official spokesperson for the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, Colonel Avishai Adrei, delivered a stark message aimed at Palestinians living in specific areas of Gaza City. In a public statement paired with a detailed map, he identified the locations Israel intends to strike. The justification, Adrei asserted, is the suspected presence of Hamas militants and related infrastructure in or near these zones. With an urgent tone, Adrei called on all civilians in those neighborhoods to leave immediately, directing them to seek refuge in Al-Mawasi, Khan Yunis, an area designated by Israel as a humanitarian zone. He stressed the importance of this evacuation, emphasizing that it was for their safety as military operations escalated under the banner of Operation Gideon's Chariots 2. And this is the part most people miss. The announcement didn't spring out of nowhere. Previously, as Israel prepared to broaden its ground efforts in the north, it began setting up humanitarian corridors in the south, precisely in the Khan Yunis region. Israeli authorities stated that this space would include critical infrastructure, temporary field hospitals, access to clean water through pipelines and desalination, along with consistent deliveries of food, medical supplies, tents, and other necessities. To prepare for the displacement, the Israeli agency, known as the Coordinator of Government Activities in the Territories, COGAT, coordinated with international partners. In advance of the strikes, they transported thousands of tents and shelter materials into southern Gaza, signaling their awareness of the massive humanitarian impact such a movement would create. Yet, even as these steps were taken, images on September 1st showed desperate Palestinians streaming south along Al-Rashid Street, moving amid uncertainty and fear as airstrikes continued to rock the city. Media reports captured moments of chaos as people scrambled for safety, often after receiving only a narrow window to flee. But controversy erupted almost immediately after Israel outlined these new operations. The world watched as prominent global leaders spoke out. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer didn't mince words, criticizing Israel for deepening the conflict, expressing doubt that such actions would resolve anything or help secure the release of Israeli hostages. Instead, he warned, more violence was all but inevitable. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also condemned the move, citing what he described as a growing humanitarian catastrophe. Carney argued that further escalation would only cement suffering on both sides and diminish hopes for a lasting peace even more. And just when you thought the debate couldn't grow louder, France, aiming to formally recognize a Palestinian state at the United Nations, joined an alliance of nations in direct opposition to Israel's expanded military campaign, alongside countries like Slovenia, Denmark, Greece, and the UK. France supported a statement calling the plans a breach of international law, urging Israeli authorities to pause and reverse course before it was too late. With these intense international reactions, the moral and strategic challenges are plain to see. Should Israel prioritize rooting out militants if it risks displacing thousands of civilians and stoking further instability? Or does the right to self-defense outweigh the risks to non-combatants in a densely populated war zone? This is the point where opinions often clash most fiercely, and we want to hear yours. Is Israel justified in expanding its campaign, given the stated military objectives? Could more be done to protect innocent lives, or is such displacement unavoidable in modern warfare? Does the international condemnation reflect genuine concern, or is it influenced by deeper geopolitical interests? Jump into the debate below. Do you agree with these international leaders, or do you see the situation differently? Let's talk about it.